for some more Demon Hunter. Hey guys, how's it going? As you've noticed, the new Demon Hunter albums have dropped, and I am finally doing another one of the songs from the album. I intentionally waited and didn't listen to this song because I wanted to react to it, but I've listened to the rest of War and a good majority of Peace. So, by the time you guys see this, I will have listened to all of it very thoroughly, and I would love to talk about it for all you Demon Hunter fans. But today, we're going to react to Ash by Demon Hunter. So, I saw them, they kind of teased this one right before they dropped the album. So I was like, it's got to be good if they're going to tease it. So we're going to check it out today. And here we go. Make sure this is turned up really nicely. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. Okay, right off the bat, the intro to this is awesome. Very intense, and I love that. Oh, gosh. Oh, what an intro. And I'm going to be pausing and skipping and stuff to avoid, because the last time I did the Demon Hunter reaction is when I fought so much with the copyright, so I'm really trying not to fight with it very much. Oh, it's so intense. That's something I really like about Demon Hunter and a band called For Today is they layer the screams, so one's really low, one's high, and one's like right in the middle, so that I guess this cool like audio effect where it sounds like one person, well, like one person screaming in multiple voices. I like that they're mixing up the strum pattern, not just going dun 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 dun. With another one of the songs in this album, they do that the whole time, which is cool, but it gets kind of boring after a while. But with this one, they're mixing it up a lot, and it gets me pretty hyped because I like when people do that. Ooh, yeah, it's like mixing stuff like that in there. Oh yeah. Oh yes, let's go. Oh. That like listen to how many times they're changing that strum pattern. I mean, it's just like keeping the energy there the whole time, and it sounds really good. And it, like I said in one of my other videos, the way they mix this album is a lot more mid to high oriented with like guitars and stuff, and so they cut through really well, and so their riffs are really filling out. And I don't know if I've said anything about it yet, but the album artwork for this album is freaking dope. For both of these, but I like the War album better because like the gold on gray contrast I think is really cool looking. All right, let's get some breakdowns. Oh. Oh yeah. Got some double pump going. Oh man, I hate having to pause this, but gosh, oh, it's so good. Oh my god, this is so good. Oh, I love this band. Ah, I gotta back it up. Oof. Oh, we gotta back that up. Alright, I messed it up because I had to skip, and I shouldn't have skipped right there because that was intense. Yes! Oh. Oh, I've got chills. I don't know if you can tell, but I've got chills. Ooh, my spine. Woo! Yes. Notice how they're doing a double pump, and then in order to like make the groove better, they cut off that beat so that it just goes to the single beat. And oh. Oh yes. Oof. Oh man. Okay. So like I said, I've listened to the rest of the album, but I saved this one to react to. Oh, I've got to say, man, I think this one's the best on the album. Like I haven't even looked at the lyrics yet, because I'm gonna look through those here in a second. But just musically, like the way they mix up the rhythms and the different styles and the layered screaming and that breakdown, and oh my gosh, that was intense. I gotta sit here and soak it in. All right. So lyrically, it looks like they're talking a lot about end times, or like, you know that phrase, "You can't take it with you to the grave." That's kind of what this is talking about. Like, the first stanza says, "Ash, ash, nothing here was made to last. Ash, ash, end of days are coming to pass." So I mean, they're talking about like, look, everything you love will turn to rust. Time will turn it all to dust. So basically, he's making the point that, hey, yeah, these things are cool right now, but I mean, you can't take it with you, and all this stuff. And I mean, it's your typical metal, like everything turns to ash, but it's also very biblical. I mean, where it says, "Flames arise and take them all by force," talking about the end times, like in Revelation, it talks about fire fall from the sky and purge the world and all these things. But it's also, there's something else in here that says, man, I'm pausing a lot. There's something else in here that I feel might be speaking specifically to like the millennial mentality, or like this young mentality of, live while you can. And it says, "All the ways you feel complete, time will render obsolete in ash." And I feel like that's a good like opposite of like a lot of these millennial mindset and stuff, where like, the YOLO was a phrase for a really long time and everything, like live while you can, do all these things now. But basically what they're saying is like you might, like, you can do it now, but all of this stuff is gonna be meaningless in the end, and in time, you might regret it, or it's just gonna be pointless in time. So I mean, it's pretty dark, but pretty direct to the point. I mean, they're not messing around. But what I will say, I talked about it a little bit during the reaction, but compared to the other songs in this album, like the sound obviously is the same because it's all one album, so they mixed it similarly to have all the songs sound the same. But musically, like they, with some of the other songs, like I believe, let me look up the name of it. On My Side, where they just have a chugging dun, 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 the whole song, literally the entire song from the beginning to the end, which is cool, and it's a good chugging rhythm, but there's not a lot of variation to it, so it gets a little old after a little bit. But this song was the opposite. I mean, there was like every stanza had a different like guitar pattern and drum pattern. They were mixing constantly and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. But I kind of wish like some of those patterns, I wish they would have held out a little bit longer, because it was like a really good change where they just kind of do a breakdown really quick, but it was only for like a line or like a stanza, and then they'd switch back into another pattern, back and forth. But I really enjoyed this, and I think that this one musically is my favorite. I mean, lyrically it's great too, but musically is really what I'm talking about, man. The way they changed the rhythms up, and Yogi, I think his name, they call him Yogi, the drummer, got to sound like he had a lot of fun doing this song. I wish there was guitar solo, because they do have a couple of good guitar solos on this album, and there wasn't one in this one, but the breakdown was pretty sweet. And I like how they tied lyrically and rhythmically the what was happening with what Ryan Clark was screaming and singing into what the guitars were doing. So they had this really cool kind of like offbeat I won't say rap because it's not rapping, but it was just like a cool rhythm he was setting up. Anyways, I love this song a lot. I think it's probably my favorite from this album. If you guys are Demon Hunter fans, let me know and tell me what your favorite song from the War and Peace albums are. Like I said, I haven't listened to a whole lot of Peace because I've just been in the mood for like some heavy metal right now. And Peace is a lot more like ballads and stuff, which I don't dislike. I just kind of have to be in the mood for them, so I haven't listened to them as much. But let me know what your favorite songs are. Maybe I'll do another reaction to one of the songs from the Peace album, but I'm trying to mix it up, throw some new artists in here. So if you have any new suggestions, I'm trying to do as much new stuff as I can and get this channel really going and get this community going good too. So we'll see you next time.